What is good, y'all? Welcome back to Chris and Ralph Productions. I'm Chris, and today we're going to be getting into the Fantastic Four casting news slash rumors. Basically, there's some massive rumors came out by a scooper who has good insight. Also, we're going to get into some period piece for Fantastic Four. It's going to be set in a certain decade, and also some other rumors as far as casting. So this came out a couple of days ago via the Hot Mic by Scott Snyder, hosted by John Roca. It is a show that I do follow, and I was watching it live as he was breaking it. And I think this casting stuff is pretty good. I really love it, actually. But yeah, I want to go ahead and get into it. So before we get into that, I hope you appreciate this video. And yeah, let's go ahead and go. All right, so the first part is Vanessa Kirby will reportedly star as Sue Storm and Fantastic Four, and that Joseph Quinn is now rumored to star as Johnny Storm in Fantastic Four. So let's go back to Vanessa Kirby. So she has been one of the more favorited fan casts. She's been in a lot of rumors. And Scott Snyder, in his report that he did, he basically stated that he is 99% sure that Vanessa Kirby is going to take on the role as Sue Storm. We know that there was rumors of Emma Stone, where she actually was in talks with Marvel, but they fell through. Margot Robbie was kind of rumored for a while. I don't know how far those talks got, but Vanessa Kirby, she looks like she's going to be our Sue Storm. So a couple of things. Obviously, she has a great resume right now. She was just in Mission Impossible, the new one, Dead Reckoning. Now a lot of people really like her in that movie. She was a standout. And as far as the role of Sue Storm, we know that whenever there is an adaptation of the Fantastic Four, that Reed Richards is most of the time the lead of the film. But for this one, it's being reported by Scott Snyder and some others is that she's going to be the main focus of this movie, that she's going to be the lead. So I think that's a fresh take for live action in terms of Fantastic Four. And she has great acting chops. She knows what she's doing. So I think her as Sue Storm is going to work really well. And her younger brother in the film. So Vanessa Kirby, I believe she's 35. And then Joseph Quinn, we're going to go ahead and get into right now. Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm is going to be her younger brother in the film. You can tell that there's some, similarities in a way. They can make it work. And so obviously Joseph Quinn, breakout role in Stranger Things season what 4, right? As Eddie, and obviously he was a fan favorite. He was actually, I think, probably my favorite character that season. He really was very charismatic that whole season. So his breakout role was last year with Fantastic Four, excuse me, with Stranger Things, and this makes total sense because if you look at him as Eddie, he gives off Johnny Storm vibes. Johnny Storm is very loud and at times arrogant. Eddie Munson was, arrogant whenever you first met him in the first couple of episodes. Um, so I think he could play this role really well. Obviously, they're gonna tune it where it fits MCU, and he's not, he's not Eddie Munson with big hair in the '80s. I think they're gonna obviously make him look like Johnny Storm. But for him to be in this film, I think it's gonna be a great role for him. He's gonna carry that lightning on the bottle that he had with Eddie. He's gonna carry it into this. At first, it was reported by Snyder that it was going to be Jack Quaid, but there was a mix-up, and Jack Quaid I don't think has ever been considered for this role. He got Jack Quaid and Joseph Quinn confused, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, it actually is going to be Joseph Quinn. And for this one, he said he's around 85% sure. I believe that's the number he said of this being the actual casting. So that's a great percentage. That's a high percentage for this cast. There's been other rumors of other gentlemen obviously playing Johnny Storm, and I can't get any off the top of my head. I can't think of any, but I have heard Joseph Quinn in the last few months. Um, I think him and Sue Storm, their brother and sister dynamic is going to play well throughout this film, and I think Vanessa Kirby and Joseph Quinn are the two to do that. So let's go ahead and get into the article actually written by Above the Line, which was written by Jeff Snyder, right here above the line. Basically, a wrap. Basically, the casting of Sue Storm, Johnny Storm, but there's some other things I wanted to get into. So right here, Jack Quaid. So whenever he was told about the rumor of the casting, he heard JQ, he automatically thought Jack Quaid, but it's actually Joseph Quinn. Um, so Matt Shackman, obviously, he did WandaVision, right? Let me make sure. Let's go ahead and copy this name right here. Search Matt Shackman, movies and TV. He did WandaVision, if I'm not mistaken, right? Matt Shackman, WandaVision. There's no episodes did Matt Shackman. Okay, yeah, yeah. So yeah, he's coming from WandaVision. He's going to be directing this film. At first, it was going to be John Watts, who did the Homecoming trilogy or the Spider-Man Home trilogy, but John Watts dropped out of that so he can go do Star Wars. Matt Shackman came in, and yeah, first of all, there's a lot of moving parts on this website. There's been rumors of Matt Smith. Let me go ahead and get into this. Matt Smith. So Matt Smith, he was in Morbius. Uh, didn't bother watching it, but yeah, and that he's been rumored as one of the favorites to be Reed Richards, as well as Adam Driver. So Adam Driver is also, I think, supposedly Adam Driver passed on the role of Reed Richards. But what Scott Snyder was saying, and it actually makes sense when you think about it. So Vanessa Kirby, Joseph Quinn, they're great actors and they're great in the films and the shows that they've been in. But as of right now, they're not like stars. They don't have like household quality type names. Adam Driver, he's developed that over the years, obviously as Kylo Ren, and Marriage Story and some other films and franchises that he's been in. I think Adam Driver, honestly, I would love to see him as Reed Richards. I think if I was him, I would reconsider. I don't know why he passed up. It could have been money. It could have just been story. I don't know, but I think Adam Driver is looking for a big role, and Reed Richards I think is it for him. So yeah, Adam Driver, the speculations, and then we're gonna get into this Ebon Moss background. As he's also in this film, but we'll get into that. But something that I did want to focus on is this little bit right here, that Galactus is expected to be played by a Latino actor. There's no names that have even been brought up as who that could be. Um, but a couple of things. I think that's pretty dope. Have one of the staples in the MCU be Galactus. And here's the thing about Galactus: you don't need to build up to Galactus. He kind of just shows up. You don't need to build up to him at all. If I'm being honest with you, so I think this would be something really interesting to have Galactus be Latino, and then obviously have it being set in the '60s. I had a lot to say about this. Let's go ahead and pull up this tweet. And this is via Grace Randolph. Grace Randolph. I mean, I don't follow her. I don't know. I know she's a big name in like the Scooper thing, but she's been wrong a lot of the time. She's been right, a lot of the times as well. I know her and James Gunn. James Gunn is constantly shooting her down on social media, so who knows. But if this is true, and this has been rumored for a while, it's not just she came out of the blue with this the other day and tweeted this out, that Marvel Studios' Fantastic Four film will reportedly be set in the 1960s, and it will be sent out as a similar of Captain America: First Avenger. So a couple of things. If this is true, I've actually, whenever they announced Fantastic Four a few years ago, when Kevin Feige officially announced it, immediately, like I've never been on record saying it because I wasn't doing YouTube at the time, but immediately I was like, this would be dope in the '60s, like 100% be dope in the '60s. And now that this is gaining traction from scoopers that it possibly is going to be set in the '60s, I absolutely love that. A lot of people online are pushing back, like, uh, I seen something where they were saying like it wouldn't make sense. They should just have it modern times. If it was the first MCU movie, then yeah, that makes sense. It doesn't have to be the first MCU movie for it to be set in a different time period. First Avenger was what, the third, fourth MCU movie, and that was set in the '40s. Captain Marvel what came out in what, 2019, so we're already 11 years into the MCU, and that was set in the '90s. It doesn't have to be the first MCU movie for it to make sense. People think, oh, it has to be the chronological order of release date. It should be the chronological order in terms of time periods. Black Widow came out in 2021, and Black Widow was already dead canon wise in the MCU. Come on, guys, think outside the box, please. But yeah, I think this would be pretty dope. Obviously, we have those like Silver Age comics in the '60s with Stan Lee, Jack Kirby. Obviously, Jack Kirby created a lot of the Fantastic Four on his own, so we can give credit to him as well. Obviously, he's a creator of majority of it. So I think this would be pretty dope in the 60s. Let's go ahead and go into some other news. Fantastic Four, obviously the article. Matt Shackman, the director, and then Vanessa Kirby wanted to show some images of her. Obviously she's blonde. Gives off the Sue Storm vibes. Joseph Quinn, bit of a wild card. I think he could play a wild card Johnny Storm. Obviously, we've seen it as him as Eddie Munson, but Ebon Moss Backrack. If I mispronounced his name, I do apologize. So he's been cast in Fantastic Four. Like he's from what Jeff Snyder's report that Ebon's in the movie. He's like in the movie. His role hasn't been disclosed on what he's going to end up playing. Jeff Snyder said that there's a good chance he can play Silver Surfer. Let me go ahead and pull up this image of Silver Surfer. If he plays Silver Surfer, you know how badass that would be. Because Ebon, he plays, if you've seen The Bear or if you've seen Daredevil and some other projects that he's been in, he plays characters who are a bit distraught at times. Can be their personalities is more dread. In Andor, he had been through stuff in Andor. His character that he played, I don't remember the name of the character. And Silver Surfer, obviously, he serves Galactus, so Silver Surfer is conflicted, and all that beautiful story. So if you were to have Ebon play Silver Surfer with his acting chops, that's amazing. I think that would be super badass. And the last thing for this Fantastic Four is about the Thing. So right here, I don't know exactly where in the article it mentions it. I'd for the role of Ben Grimm. So they're saying that he's most likely won't be Ben Grimm in the movie of the Thing, obviously, because they're from reports from Snyder and some other people online that they're looking for a heavy set actor to play Ben Grimm. I think that's pretty dope. I'm stocky. I'm broad. I think that would be pretty cool to have someone on the screen play a superhero that's chunky. I think that'll be pretty cool. I like that a lot. There was a lot of the name that got pulled around was Paul Walter Hauser, who's in Blackbird, Cobra Kai, and a lot of other projects. What's that one movie he did about the bombing at Olympics in the Atlanta? I don't remember the movie. He played as the security guard, but he was great in that film. But yeah, they're looking for a heavyset actor to play Ben Grimm. I think the people were aiming towards Ebon as Ben Grimm because I believe he can play that annoyed, raggled voice type of Ben Grimm that we've seen live action. But I think if they're gonna go with someone heavyset, I don't even have an idea of who they can go for. Paul Walter Hauser, I think, is the first name that popped up because he's one of the more well-known actors who are that's on the actors that's like heavy set, on the bigger side. He has a great acting chop, so I think his name was thrown out there because of that reason. But there's no one that I can think of off the top of my head that I think can take the role as Ben Grimm. Um, but yeah, like I think that's pretty much it. The report that came out from Snyder of the news of the casting. So Vanessa Kirby's going to be Sue Storm. Her brother's going to be played by Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm. Ebon Moss Bonrock. I'm so sorry, I mispronounced his name. He's going to be in the film. His role not disclosed yet. Uh, Probably leaning towards Silver Surfer. Ben Grimm is going to be a heavy set dude. I think that's pretty dope. Galactus is going to be, they're aiming for a Latino actor for Galactus, and that the film will supposedly take place in the 1960s, which out of all the news of Fantastic Four, that's the one that's got me the most excited. Really, I think that as a period piece in the 60s for the Fantastic Four, I can already see the way they're gonna have their hair, combed, and the outfits, the music. Hopefully, they have some dope 60s needle drops. I think it's gonna be pretty good. Matt Shackman, he already has experience with the MCU with period piece episodes with WandaVision. Every episode was a different decade in television. So I think at first, whenever they said John Watts, it's because I love John Watts and the way he, wrote that Spider-Man story, especially Homecoming. I love Homecoming, the way he wrote that movie. I think he wrote one of the writers, well, directed it at least. But whenever they said he moved on to Matt Shackman, I was like, Matt Shackman, he did WandaVision. WandaVision has a lot of 60s episodes based in there in the earlier part of the season. So I think that would be really good. But yeah, guys, that is pretty much it. Just a breakdown of the Fantastic Four news. Wanted to give my thoughts on it. But please like, share, and subscribe if you got this far in the video. I do appreciate the support. Like I mentioned every video, we are a small channel. We are growing, but surely growing. I think I say that. I don't remember. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. As always, I'm Chris. Until next time, peace.